channel and all of that good stuff, honey child. Because if you have seen my title, then you obviously know that this is going to be a story time about the time that I had the worst date ever. And this was literally one of the worst dates that I've had in my entire life, and you guys are about to find out why. Alright, so I have been new to the dating scene. I haven't been dating for very long. I've been single for a while now. I would consider it a while. It's been well over a year that I have been single, and you know, I tried to date, but it just has not been working in my favor. Like not at all. Like, it's like really embarrassing. Like, when people ask me about dating, I'm like, what? Like, I don't even know what that means. Like, is that some type of foreign concept? Is that a new language? Like, I don't get it, right? So so last year around this time, I decided to give dating a try, and it was terrible. So you guys know, if you watch my first story time, I kind of have to give you a backstory to get to the actual story. Like, hopefully this won't take too long, but it just might, okay? So, you know, grab some popcorn or something and chill out with me, okay? So I moved into my new spot summer of 2015. So this is like literally like a year to the date that this happened. And yeah, so I moved into my new spot summer of 2015, and you guys know that when you get a new place, obviously you have to like transfer over or start up new utilities. You have to start up your new cable or switch it over, whatever the case. So I was starting God, I hate this. I was starting up my new cable, right? And I'm not going to say the name of the company because I just don't want to get messy like that. Because a couple of things that happened were like against company policy. So here's the thing, guys. Like, I've had guys come to my house before. That doesn't even sound right. But, you know, I've had like guys that work for companies come to my house to set stuff up, you know what I'm saying? Not just coming to my house, but coming to my house to set things up, you know what I mean? So I'm not like unaware of, you know, guys coming to my house, but like I've never been, I guess, attracted to anyone that's come to my door, right? But this one that stepped on my steps, that stepped at my door, I can't even talk right. This one that came was like sweet tea on a hot southern day. Like, he was beautiful. Like, he came to my door, and I find it quite interesting. This is why, and I also was very excited at the fact that, you know, all my friends and everybody, my mom and everybody is like, Jazz, you're not gonna, like, a man is not just gonna show up to your doorstep. You're gonna have to get out there and see him. Oh, did I prove them wrong? Because the man that pulled up at my spot was amazing, guys. Like, he was tall, dark, and handsome, 1,000-watt smile. He was just beautiful, okay? When I opened up that door, I was like, where have you been my whole life? Where have you been? Yes, come on in, baby. Yes, come on in. So, like, I could tell that, like, you know, when I met him, that he was a little bit on the younger side. I could just tell, you know what I mean? Like, you guys know I'm almost 30 years old. I'll be 29 this year, and so I move a little different, you know what I mean? And this guy, I knew he was young before, like, I knew he was young before he opened his mouth, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, he had a similactic fragrance, you know, to his aura. There was a Similac-esque type of fragrance coming off of this fine young man, you know what I mean? And I knew that I just knew that he was young. And then, you know, after we began talking to each other, like, I could tell that he was young. Obviously he was young, like, you know, he was still like in college young. So he was like early 20s, which Jazz don't do early 20 nothing. Like, I gotta, like, we don't do, there's just something about a man who, no, I just can't, you know what I mean? Just not for me, okay? So But you know, it was something a little bit different about him. Like I could tell that he was very intelligent. He was very, very intelligent. He was in college and he had like, you know, these type of, you know, jobs, like great jobs, you know what I mean? So he had a good job. You seemed like he had a nice head on his shoulders, da da da. So I was like, okay, at least, at best, my little tenderoni, which I named him my little tenderoni. My little tenderoni can kind of get my feet wet back in the dating pool, give me a little, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I knew that it was something different about him when it came to me because, like I said, I've had, like, maintenance men. I don't know. Like, everything just sounds way too pornographic in this video right now. But, like, I've had, like, you know, maintenance men come to my house before and I've never really checked for them like that. I've just always been kind of like, yo, do what you gotta do and then get out my crib. You know what I mean? Like I need you to bounce, right? So, but this guy, I was, like, so inviting. Like, you know, just asking him, like, oh, do you need something to drink? Are you thirsty? Do you need something to eat? Are you hungry? Like, you know, just like, I was just there for him. Like, you would have thought we were in a long-term relationship. So I kind of got the gist that the feeling was mutual because, like, you know, we conversed with each other the entire time that he was there and, you know, laughing and, you know, joking and things like that. So clearly there was, like, some sort of, like, chemistry between us and everything like that. So, you know, after he finished up working, you know, it was time for him to go, and he'd text me. Actually, he did not text me on the company cell phone, because, like, if you've ever had your cable before, set up before, you guys know that they usually give you, like, a courtesy call before they, you know, show up or whatever. But he texted me from his personal cell phone because he got the number from the company, you know, directory or whatever. And he was like, yo, if you need any help or if something goes wrong with your cable, call me. And I'm like, I'm gonna call you. I am going to call you. I'm gonna call you, right? So that was that. I think we may have talked back and forth maybe 2 or 3 times after that, and then nothing. I take the blame for that because usually I'm just that way. Like, I'll be really into something and then I'll get distracted and I'll go off and do something else. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of who I am. So I stopped talking to him. We had our first encounter. We spoke a couple times after that, and then, you know, I pretty much just fell off the face of the earth. Usually a guy will text me and he'll keep texting me and I'll just stop texting you. You know, I just will stop completely texting you. You would have thought that I died. You know what I'm saying? So, like, a few months later, I'm talking to my friend and we're on FaceTime and she's like, Jay, like, is this old cutie at my house setting up cable, like fixing my cable. Like, she didn't need her cable to be set up. She was like having some issues with her cable or whatever, and she was like, yeah, but he got like this aura about him. It's something so, like, so cute and so sexy about this guy. And I was like, word, you know what I mean? So I'm like, first of all, ladies, you know what I'm talking about when I say aura. Like, it's the same thing that I'm saying along the terms of the similactic aura. You know what I mean? There's an energy around a male. Like, you know, it's just like a feeling that you get, right? And you gotta know what I'm talking about. It's like that whole, like, Jay-Z syndrome, right? Like, he has, like, you know, people might say that he's not the most attractive, you know what I mean? But he has, like, this aura that makes him very, very, very attractive. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you get what I mean. All right, so it was the same thing with this guy. And so I was like, yo, you know, turn around the FaceTime and let me see this guy. And so she does. She turns the FaceTime around, and lo and behold, it's my little tenderoni, okay? So I immediately said to her, I was like, I'm gonna need you to back up. I'm gonna need you to back up away from that. Because I have already put my hands, you know, I mean, more so like I've already put my eyes, not my hands, because I didn't put my hands on. But I've set my eyes on this one right here. I'm gonna need you to back on up a little bit. And she did as such, right? Okay, so I was like, yo, now mind you, I'm on FaceTime, so obviously he could hear what I was saying. And I just went in. I was like, cause she asked him if he knew who I was. Obviously he works with so many customers, he's really not gonna remember who I am, right? So, cause he really couldn't see me. So, so I was like, yeah, I know exactly who you are. And you came and you set up my cable, and you in college, and you got your own apartment, and da 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 da, all this stuff. I'm just running it down, right? And so he's finally like, oh yeah, you ain't called me back. So I'm like, my bad, whatever. So after, everything was over between me and him, I told my friend, I was like, yo, tell him to text me or call me, because I mean, like, a couple months had passed. I guess, like, at that point I wanted to really try to date, just go out on a couple casual dates. So guys, we get to talking again, and this time is better, and it's more so better because of me. Like, I'm pretty much ready to be open to dating at this point, so I'm a little bit more receptive to certain things that are being said to me. And like I said, he had a great head on his shoulders, and I know, like, I feel like, even though the us thing didn't work out, like, to whomever he ends up with, like, he's gonna be, like, good shit, you know what I mean? So, as we were talking, I learned more about him, and then finally he asked me on a date. Now, this is kind of like strike one, but not really. Like, I take an issue to when men try to court you via social media, via text message, via social. I don't like that. I feel like a male should pick up the phone and call you, or ask you, in person. But, so he asked me via text message, and actually I think what I did was, when he asked me via text message, I did not reply. That's what happened. When he asked me via text message, I did not reply. He ended up calling me one night when we were talking, and he was like, yo, can I take you out on a date? You know what I mean? So I was like, alright, bet, let's go out on this date. So I said yes to it, right? Why did I say yes to it? So the day of the date, guys, he decides that he wants to take me to the movies, which, let me tell you something, ladies, like, don't let your first date be at the movies. Like, hold on, can we just take a break real quick? Like, let's just have a little powwow. Let's just have a little womanly powwow, you know what I'm saying? Or even young adult powwows. Let's have it, okay? Because I've done some things, and I've learned some things throughout life. I'm not saying that I'm old, but you know what I mean? I just know a couple things. Okay, so usually for me, if I meet someone and I like them, you know what I mean, because you can't really get to know someone just based off of, like, first impressions. Usually it's just a general physical attraction. That's usually how it goes, a general physical attraction. So if I meet a guy and that guy asks to take me out on a date, the first date for me is usually a very informal date. I will meet you at a coffee shop on the weekend at like 12 noon. I will meet you at the local, I don't know, someplace very open, someplace very casual. And the reason why I do this, and I stand firm by this, and I recommend this to anybody that's dating, is that it allows you to really have a genuine conversation with someone without all of the pressure. I personally take a lot of, I personally feel like it's a lot of pressure when a male takes you out on a romantic date the first time around. To me, that's a lot. So and the same thing for like being taken to the movies on a first date. I don't recommend it because, like, you can't talk. Like, how are you gonna get to know someone and you're just sitting there watching a movie for like 2 hours? It's just bad business. But again, I had just got my feet back in the game, so I was a little rusty, you know what I mean? So when he said that we were gonna go to the movies, I was like, all right, cool. So the day of, I'm mad nervous, y'all. I'm like super nervous to go on this date. And so he texts me that he was outside, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I'm at the door, like at my door, like not wanting to open the door. Like, I could have vomited. I was so nervous. But I get to the stairs, and I'm noticing, this is where it gets a little tricky. You know, some people are gonna agree with me on this and some people are not, but I guess I would consider myself very old school when it comes to dating. And I do feel like there are certain things that males and females should do on a first date. You know, you really are showing your best, like putting your best foot forward. So when I open my door and I get to my steps, I'm noticing that this young fine specimen of a male is not outside of his car opening my door. Like, so I'm walking down the stairs. I'm literally like, well, maybe he's gonna get out. Like, maybe he's gonna get out. All the way up until I get to like the handle of the passenger side door. And guys, I low-key, like high-key waited, because I was like, he had 2 options and 1 job. He had 2 options and 1 job. If he did not want to get out and open the door for me, that's messed up. But you know, he could have did what, ladies? He could have like reached over. He could have reached over. Retched, that's some straight up black shit right there. Retched around and wrench it off. Remember that? He could have reached over and opened the door from the inside. At that point, I'd have been like, you know, you good with me, money? We good. But he did not. I had to open up my own door and get in the car. Now I know some of y'all are like, what? You're such a prude, but I'm not. Like, I'm not a prude. Like, it's like, these are things that you should just kind of know. So I get into the vehicle, which I was like, okay, this is why I'm saying, like, I feel like whomever he comes in contact with is gonna have like a great guy, because he just, you know, for his age, he had like a lot of great qualities about him. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Whatever. So I get in the car and I'm like, oh, okay, this is nice. It was nice and clean, smelling good. You could tell he had like got it like, you know, clean like that day, whatever. So it was good. So, but keep in mind, guys, that was strike 1. Okay, strike 1 for me. So I'm not driving. He's driving, and on our way there, I'm noticing that I have to like lead the conversation. Like, it wasn't a natural conversation. It wasn't a natural banter between, you know, 2 people that are getting to know each other. It was very much so like, so, you know, you like to play basketball? Oh yeah, what teams have you played for? You know what I mean? Just like me constantly leading this conversation. And I thought like, God, like you know, that's one thing that I just really don't like. Like, I need someone, clearly I talk a lot, guys. Like, I need someone that can go tit for tat with me. Didn't happen. I had to lead that. I was like, oh, okay, here's another one, but it's cool. Maybe he's nervous. You know what I mean? I felt like I always tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so now at this point we're at the theater, but we haven't gotten inside of the theater yet. We're just like parked underground. And if you guys are from Chicago, you might know the theater that I'm talking about. But we were at like this theater where you park underground. And again, guys, am I crazy? Like, I'm sitting in the car. He gets out of the car. What is he supposed to do? He's supposed to come and open my door. He didn't. I was like, I am about to die. No, but this is the gag. This is the gag. The gag is that not only did he get out of the vehicle, he didn't wait for me. He started walking towards the door while I was still sitting in the car. Like, that's just not gonna work for me. It's just not work for me. So I get out the car and I'm like, I open up the door, close it, and I'm like, you're not gonna wait for me? And he's like, oh, my bad. Yo, bad. Like, I'm about to curse you out. Like, you got 2.5 seconds left with me. Like, I'm about to curse you out. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all gonna learn about me in these doors, because the door debacle is not over. Y'all, I know some of y'all are really listening to this right now and being like, she is tripping. But let me tell you, I this is just how I was raised. You know, when you go out on a date, the male pulls out the chair for you, he opens up the door for you, things like this. These are things that, you know, men do. So that was kind of like strike 2, but I'm really putting the door situations as strike 1 because there was so much more. So as I'm walking, here comes another fucking door. Like, and I'm like, at this point, I'm slowing down because obviously he's like making a beeline to the movie theater. He got to get there so fast for whatever reason. Like, he's walking fast, and I'm like, wait, did that happen? No, I think what happened was, like, I started walking faster, and then I think I got to the door. No, that's not what happened. I'm sorry. Oh, yes, he was walking ahead of me. And I was like, I said to him, like, playfully, you know how you, like, try to make a joke out of something you're serious about? Like, I was like, you know, hasn't anybody, like, don't you know that you're supposed to stand next to the woman? Like, you know, I'm like, don't you know you're supposed to stand next to the woman? You know? Don't you know that? Right? So I'm trying to make a joke out of it, but I'm like dead ass, y'all. I'm dead serious. I'm like, don't you know you're supposed to like stand in front of, like, you know, in front of the woman, like when you stand next to the woman when you are on a date? And he's like, again with the oh my bads, you know what I mean? Like, oh my bad, you know. And then we get to the door, and he doesn't open the door, guys. So at this point, I'm like pretty much done. I open the door and I say, ladies first. Yes, I said ladies first to him. I was like, you know what? Open the door, ladies first. You damn right. So we get up to the theater, and at this point, you know, I'm kind of like, man, you know, let me calm down. I'm being so extra right now. I just was like, I gotta be being extra. Maybe I missed something. I haven't been dating. Like, I haven't been, let me tell you guys something. I haven't been on a date, like, with a guy that I don't know, you know, in almost at that time, it was like almost 10 years. Like, I've been out the game for a minute, y'all. So I was like, maybe I'm missing some new world shit, you know. Maybe I'm not used to this world, and this is how this goes down, you know. But what I was taught was something totally different. So we ended up going to see Bond, James Bond, and 007, whatever you call that. Like, I've never seen a 007 movie. Like, I've never seen a James Bond film. Clearly, I've heard about them, but I've never seen one. Don't care to. You know, I like the fact that he dresses snazzy, but that's as far as my interest goes when it comes to the 007 franchise, you know? So, I found that to be a little, like, whatever, just whatever, you know what I mean? So, he pays for the tickets, and we're walking through. Now, I hadn't ate all day. Like, I was, like, waiting for the... I was waiting for this moment because I was like, at least I can get me some popcorn, maybe a Sprite, and some Juju beans. Or I personally like, you know, the little Sour Patch Kids, right? But I definitely, you know, wanted to get something to eat because I hadn't really eaten like that before we were to meet up. So as we are walking through to get to the theater, first of all, guys, you have to go past the concession stand area before you can actually go to the movie theaters because they want you to eat, right? So as I'm walking past, I'm walking and I'm slowing down because I'm like, he has to know that he needs to feed me because I'm gonna get hangry, you know? And he's like, yo, you want that shit? I said, what? Do you want some of that shit over there? I'm like, popcorn, America's favorite pastime, like America's favorite snack. You're asking me, do I want popcorn? He's like, yeah, I don't eat that. I don't like how it get all in your teeth. Right. So I'm in a theater, Ain't got a juju bean, ain't got a drink, a nothing, y'all. Parched, dehydrated, angry, disgusted. Like, I was just like, this is so crazy. And for literally, y'all know that 007 movie or whatever that friend that you know version was like a 3-hour movie. So for 3 hours, like, we did not speak. I didn't laugh at a movie. I didn't laugh at nothing. I sat there the entire time like, what's going on now? What is this? What part is this? Why don't I get this part? Because I didn't see the one before that. But if you would have asked me if I saw any of the 007 franchises before you decided to take me to the movies, maybe, you know, you would have like found this out, and you know, I wouldn't be sitting here looking crazy. So 3 hours later, cue SpongeBob, 3 hours later, movie's over, and I'm just like stunned, dazed, and confused. All right, like, I was like, it cannot get any worse. Okay, it can't get any worse. It can't get any. So at this point, you know, the movie's over and we get ready to leave, right? And it's about 10 o'clock or something like that, maybe even like closer to 11 p.m. And it was the weekend, and you know, Chicago is a pretty live city, so of course there are so many things to do out here at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking like, well, maybe he didn't want to, you know, because being at the concession stand, being at the theater, like, you know, it can be really expensive, right? So I'm like, well, maybe he didn't want to pay all that money for like food, frivolous food or whatever. But we gonna go eat now, you know what I mean? Like, we gotta, you know, getting ready to go eat, you know. So he's driving, and I'm noticing that he's like driving the way to get back. I'm noticing that he's driving like the way back to my house. Like, you've ever been a kid? Well, of course you've been a kid. Remember when you were a kid and your mom like lied to you and told you she was gonna take you to Chuck E. Cheese, and you know, then all of a sudden as you're driving, like, you're noticing like landmarks that like look very familiar to where you live. Like, that's how I was on our way home. And he's driving and he's like, man, I'm so motherfucking hungry. Me too. I'm hungry. I'm real hungry. Hungry? I am too. So hungry. He's like, yo, man, I just had a great idea. I'm like, what's that? What's that? He like, I'm thinking we might, you know, at this point, I'm willing to take Harold's, okay? That's how hungry I am. I'll take some Harold's on 87. You know what I mean? Like, you know, late night fried chicken, put some mayo sauce on mine, and give me 2 peppers. You know what I mean? Like, that's I'm cool on that. You gonna take, right? So he's like, man, I just had a great idea. I'm like, yeah, you know, what is it? He's like, yo, after I drop you off at home, I'm about to go to Wendy's and get the 4 for $4. Man, that shit's so good. Like, help me understand. What the just happened to me? What just happened to me? Like, we were riding down Lakeshore Drive, and I literally almost jumped out the vehicle. Like, I could not believe it. I had never heard, seen, felt, experienced anything like this in my life. Do you know, Buddy dropped me off at home and went to fucking Wendy's. I'm sorry for cursing, but he dropped me off and he went to Wendy's, okay? He dropped me off at my doorstep again, didn't get out the car to open up the door or nothing. It was just like, bye. And I got out the car like, goodbye. Goodbye, you know, like, goodbye. And I faked like I went into my house, But then like I waited till he pulled off, and then I got in my car, and then I went to Wendy's and got the 4 for $4. Honey, needless to say, old cable guy never heard from me again, like ever of ever. It's like I did like, I stopped responding to text messages, phone calls, all of the sorts. Like I just was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work for me. It ain't gonna work for me. Alright guys, so that is my story time. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And let me know you want to see more story time videos. Oh yes, I got plenty more. I am thinking about doing another story time, and if you follow my Snapchat, then you know I had alluded to telling you guys about one time that I might have been a stripper. I don't know. But you know, yeah, maybe I'll tell you guys my story, right? Okay. But let me know down in the comment section if that's the next story time that you guys want to see. Hella embarrassing. Alright, I love you guys so much for watching. I will check you out in my next video. Until then, peace out.